Are you sick of spending money on food and alcohol? Then head on down to Buenos Aires, Argentina, the world champions of offering cheap stuff for tourists. I'm talking about the blue rate or the black market exchange rate, which doubles your spending power for tourists. And Visa claims to give you this black market rate. All you have to do is swipe your Visa card, which I did at several dozen bars and restaurants, and it surprisingly worked. It first charges you the full amount, then a few days later it cuts it in half. And this only applies to foreigners. If you live in Argentina, this will not work. So armed with unlimited money, I went to the Palermo neighborhood, which is the nightlife center of Buenos Aires, which is ironically centered around a playground with kids playing. Though if you are a single parent, it lets you keep an eye on your kids while you enjoy a beer and a book. Otherwise, it's a bit tame during the daytime. Most people are at bars having lunch, or stampeding down the street in rollerblades, running people over. Also, a lot of these places don't open until the late afternoon, except for your trusty local Irish establishment. Sullivan's Pub opens at 9 a.m. Though if you'd prefer to start drinking at 9 p.m., I'd suggest taking a walk around the area during the daytime. There's a lot of artwork plastered on these walls. Though I didn't quite agree with this one. It's literally inside a bar, which is made possible by capitalism. There are a few world-famous Argentinian steakhouses around here, Don Julio and another one I can't pronounce. You definitely need to make reservations, though, even late at night. You can see all these people standing around who are denied entry. As far as meeting women is concerned, I had a little bit of trouble picking anyone up. This may have to do with me accidentally wandering into the gay district, though it was pretty positive vibes here and there were a lot of prideful flags on display. I have a feeling, though, they may not have air conditioning or people just get very hot inside, as a lot of their patrons went to this ice cream shop across the street immediately after for some unknown reason. It does get more rowdy at nighttime when people start drinking more, and you can see some really destructive behaviors come out. Like this guy here vandalized this restaurant, knocking over its table decor. But in all seriousness, I did actually feel safe walking the streets at night alone as a foreign tourist. Much safer than in Santiago, Chile, and it was well lit all over, as you can see. Aside from drinking all day, there's a ton of sightseeing you can do, more than I can talk about in this video. Most of this was taken from Barrio Norte, around that area. It's sort of like on the northeastern part of town. There are also live guards in some places. They just stand there and stare you down. I'm not sure if you're allowed to go up there and read the plaques, but if so, it would be incredibly awkward. It also has a very European vibe to it. I'm told it feels like Paris, but I've never been. Here's a bunch more footage I took, and I can't think of any sarcastic jokes to make about it, so just enjoy it while I do everyone a favor and shut up for a little bit. Another spot to check out is all the way east. It's called Punta de la Mujer, or Woman's Footbridge for some reason. And surrounding it on both sides of this inlet are countless bars, restaurants, and tourists here snapping photos of the footbridge. There's also a boat here for some reason, and across the footbridge are some corporate offices. Must be nice to work there since you're surrounded by all these bars and restaurants. There's even one floating on water, but it was closed during the daytime. I'm sure it gets popular at night though. But Temple Bar was open during the day and let me pregame for my next trip to Montevideo. But I had one last stop to check out before leaving Argentina, La Boca, which is just south. This is much more of a, how shall we say, bohemian area. So it's really crowded and it gets a little bit dangerous here at night, so come here during the daytime. But it is very colorful, which is a word I would use to describe Buenos Aires. Not only is the city huge, but it has something distinct and unique to offer every type of tourist. You will never be bored here. This was probably my favorite destination in all of South America, so grab your Visa card and hop on the next flight to Buenos Aires, Argentina.